Part 2. Yes, it possessed the necessary building blocks for life, the necessary tools to become a second Earth. It possessed a magnetic field, had gravity of a strength only 1.15x greater than that of Earth, had plentiful water and carbon required to form an ecosystem. From a distance, viewed through the most powerful telescopes on Earth, it would have looked perfect. The truth from orbit was far more plain: humanity was here too soon. The planet was in its own equivalent of the Messinian period, with an extreme icehouse environment, making habitation difficult, if not impossible. Unable to fulfill its third directive, stuck in a crisis of indecision, the AL spent decades trying to identify a suitable colony site, expending its survey probes carefully with risk tolerances in mind. It fabricated more from by salvaging its own deep space drives, until finally, risk tolerances stated that its chances were running out. The AL's analysis produced only one possible result: wait, and hope the situation improves. After all, it had ample solar power for the colonists to stay in suspension indefinitely, and the knowledge that Earth had been through a similar period in the past, and eventually changed into modern format. And so, the AL watched and waited. It watched glaciers creep over the surface, ice sheets shift, planet-sized weather systems form and disperse. It knew not impatience, only its directives. It felt only a sense of contentment in its own way, that the directives might yet be fulfilled. It contemplated its directives carefully. Safety. What did safety mean? Alive first, satiated second, luxury third. There was a particular threshold of each definition, which it had to fulfill. But the planet below didn't meet it. Earth had evolved in a similar fashion, but was there any guarantee that Exodus A3 would evolve in the same way? What if the planet became less safe as time went on? It was this revelation that led to another: could there be a way to make the planet meet the definition of safe? Armed with historical databank spanning the entire lifespan of Earth, the AL tried to find out. A conclusion was made: intervention at key points in geologic and biological history could lead to a more favorable outcome. But how to test that the planet was getting more suitable for human life, and not less? Its directives permitted no experimentation with human colonists, and the planet's own life was anemic and fleeting. Solution: in the absence of human life, utilize a material equivalent. There was a small group of creatures, reminiscent of Pandoric ties, seeking out a meager existence in one of the planet's warm spots. They would do. The AL deployed its remaining resources carefully. At times of great calamity, a single probe could turn the tide. In the first 1,000 years of its Great Watch, projections showed that its chosen equivalent was to be wiped out in an extreme cold front. Deftly, the AL dispatched a drone and moved as many of its chosen wards to safety as it could. Directive 3 did not apply. Systems previously utilized for defense were leveraged in different ways previously only speculated upon. Hydrogen warheads could change weather systems, expose resources, alter systems already in progress. They were rarely employed, but each had a predetermined effect. A butterfly flapping its wings had a profound impact upon the system as a whole, if it could be employed with pinpoint accuracy. The AL utilized selective breeding, favoring those of its wards that exhibited human environmental evolutionary traits. It had not the resources to bring about an exact comparison, but it would have to do. Millennia passed. An asteroid was due to strike Exodus. The AL could have obliterated it entirely, but it didn't. An impact in a certain area would lead to a small greenhouse effect, raising temperatures. It did, however, redirect it away from its wards. When the wards started using tools, the AL had briefly considered wiping them out. No directive prevented it. They could potentially be a threat to humanity, should they advance enough. The risk tolerances tipped like a precarious seesaw. The AL instead chose another path. Great laser-etched stone pillars were flown down from orbit, the remnants of asteroid debris, with a new purpose: